Ladies and gentlemen, big welcome back to our final session when we have got senior business leaders with us who are going, along with Jim, of course, who has come back to join us and take your questions, as indeed everyone will be. And we're really looking at how private partners can drive innovation across the NHS, because everything is all about partnership and about picking up ideas and how they are driven into the NHS, how the NHS picks them up as well. So what I'm going to do, rather than introduce everyone myself, I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves and at the same time explain in just a couple of minutes what it is that they are doing, their organisation is doing to help the NHS through the technology that they have pioneered, or the systems that they are pioneering. So let me start first of all with Richard at the far end.
Hello, a very good afternoon, everybody. And firstly, let me say thanks for sticking with us to the bitter end of this conference. Shows real commitment, and we're all very pleased, I think, that you're here for this final session. So good afternoon to you. So my name's Richard Rhys-Davies, and I run Care Innovations for Europe. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment or two. First thing I want to say is, just to give you a couple of statistics. I've got a marketing background, so I feel compelled to give you some statistics. In 1980, 1 in 10 people in Europe were over the age of 65. By 2050, it'll be 1 in 3. I mean, that is a startling, I think, statistic. The fastest growing demographic today are the over 85s. So, you know, it's great news. I hope to be one of those people one day. But, you know, with that great news, of course, comes the prevalence of chronic disease. And, you know, frankly, it's a ticking time bomb. Today, I mean, I'm sure Mr. Easton will correct me if I'm wrong, about 70% of NHS spend goes on looking after people with long-term conditions, with chronic disease. So it's just a huge amount of spend. So, put simply, the healthcare system of today is unsustainable. How can we possibly cope with this huge and growing number of chronically ill patients? Around 17 million people in the UK alone today. So, coming from GE Healthcare, we've been working with Intel very closely for a number of years. And at GE and at Intel, you know, we like to take on big problems where we can make a real difference in the world. And, you know, remote patient monitoring, or telehealth, telecare, assistive technologies that allow people to live safely and comfortably in their own homes, but be watched very carefully by medical people from a distance, to be monitored, to have their vital signs taken. And if there's a trend towards a problem, you know, blood pressure is going up, or you're a congestive heart failure patient and your weight is going up, you're building up fluid on the lungs or whatever, it's incredibly important that the clinicians can intervene at a very early stage, change medications, intervene, and prevent this from building up into an emergency admission to hospital at huge spend for the NHS. So remote patient monitoring is a huge challenge for GE, for Intel, for the world. And as a result of that, we've created a new company together. We launched on the 1st of January. We are Care Innovations. We are Intel and GE Healthcare owned. And we're here to make a huge step change in partnership with government in the way that the chronically ill are being cared for and monitored. Improve patient outcomes, reduce cost, improve efficiency. That's what we'll be doing. Thank you, Martin.
Right, great. Thanks very much indeed, Richard. Clay, over to you.
Yes, hi, I'm Clay Van Doren. I'm the president of BT Health. I run the global health business. And first of all, I want to thank you as well for being here for the last 2 days. It's actually been a big success for us, and we've really enjoyed getting to meet all of you. So BT Health and the NHS, we've had a long relationship. It goes back 60 years. And most of you probably know us for our work on the national program. So Spine, N3, the national network, and also the local service provider activity we do in London and the South. But I also want to make sure that you're aware of the things we do around telehealth. So that's a big play for us going forward. And also some of the things we're doing around interoperability to make sure all the discrete systems today work together as one. But I'd also like to suggest that there's some fairly significant similarities between the NHS today and where BT was 2 or 3 years ago. So we've gone through a massive transformation, and hearing Jim talk about Quip actually made me think about where BT was probably 2 or 3 years ago. And along the way, we've taken out almost 1.8 billion of cost. And we've done it actually through improvement of quality. So we've reduced the number of trouble tickets by about 1.4 million. We've reduced the number of visits by almost 1 million a year. So there's 1 million a year. That's a whole lot of waste. And because of that, we've actually been able to invest. So we've been able to invest in the fiber network. And we've been able to invest in the next version of telehealth along with our partners. And I think the partner is the other thing I want to suggest, which is we've consistently pulled through the SMEs. So we're an integrator, we're an enabler, but really if you're an SME out there, please make sure you come talk to BT Health, because we're really dependent on you for our success in delivering the success through the NHS to the patients. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Jackie.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Jackie Fielding. I'm Regional Vice President for the UK and Ireland of Medtronic. Medtronic is a global company, about $15 billion worth of turnover, 39,000 employees, and we basically manufacture and produce medical devices that go into patients to help patient care and drive improvements in healthcare. Medtronic was founded in 1949, so we're a year younger than the NHS. I also sit on the board of the ABHI, so it's great for me to be able to come up here and represent the health, the medical device sector, and make some differences between ourselves and pharma. So I said Medtronic was developed in 1949. It was founded by a man who invented the first implantable and the first battery-powered pacemaker, and we've been innovating ever since. And innovation is our lifeblood. We bring products to market very quickly that will drive innovation across healthcare systems in the world. Every 4 seconds, someone is implanted with a medical device from Medtronic, and 2/3 of our revenues are driven by devices which are less than 2 years old. So innovation really is our lifeblood. Quality also is our lifeblood. It's essential. Every device that is put in every single patient needs to work every time. So we work relentlessly at innovation and quality. We work obviously very, very closely with the NHS, and we bring devices along through our liaisons with clinicians. And more latterly, we've been working with different healthcare systems across the world to make sure that we can drive procedures, productivity, and help with all of the healthcare burdens across the world.
Right, Jackie, thank you. And I have to confess to making a mistake. You were sitting in the right position. Would you guys mind swapping, just so that the sound can actually? So we've got what we've got is Jim going back to the seat that he was meant to be in to help our sound friends at the back. And Jim, I don't know if you want to.
I've done my piece.
You've done your stuff. You've done your 45 minutes, which was absolutely terrific. So Simon, over to you to introduce yourself and give us your quick 2-minute burst.
Thanks, Martin. So, my name's
sorry,
Simon.
can I just say, could we boost the sound a little bit at the back coming to the speakers? Because I think I'm getting some nods here. It's actually quite difficult for us to hear people on the far side. Could you boost the speaker at the back? Brilliant, I'm getting a thumbs up. Right,
Perfect.
Over to you.
Martin, thanks. Simon England. I run Accenture's healthcare business here in the UK. It's been a really interesting conference and an event for us, because a lot of people have come up to me and my team and said, so what on earth are Accenture doing here, and what are they doing in health? And you know, it's been really great to share some of the stories and some of the things that we've been quietly getting on with behind the scenes. And really this event has marked a very big raising of our profile and starting to tell some of those stories. So to answer your question, what are we doing? Really four things that we're trying to do and help with at the moment. One is a lot of stuff around medical imaging and radiology, in particular solutions for clinicians to better share and connect. Secondly is helping with the efficiency and effectiveness of back office administration, so HR, finance, IT. Thirdly is electronic patient records and medical records. And then finally, very specific cost reduction initiatives where we're working with a number of acute trusts, some quite big ones, where we're taking cost out of energy usage, the supply chain use of consumables, devices, and other things. And really starting to drive big benefits and certainly, I think, quite differentiated from our point of view, where we're only being paid out of the benefits that we measurably deliver, which I hope is quite relevant to where the NHS is at the moment.